another step to look and see what's in my dreams. One more chance to hide away inside. This is the end. So lay me down on a bed of roses, so I can sleep, so I can think. One more dose and my darkness unending. So won't you save me from this paradise? So lay me down on a bed of roses, so I can sleep, so I can think. One more dose and my darkness unending.
Come on, run away. You don't have to stay. We're nearly out of time, but you're doing fine. So stay on track and don't look back. Just feel the pace. Come on now, race. Everybody supersonic racing. Try to keep your feet right on the ground. When you're supersonic racing, there's no time to look around. We're just supersonic racing, running to the point of no return. Everybody supersonic racing. Come on, let the fire burn. Everybody, everybody, everybody. Everybody, everybody, everybody. Everybody, everybody, everybody.
What's going on? I am quite surprised to see y'all. I come back and I see y'all freaking filled my chat already on screen. See if it even sticks around when I switch. It does. Except I need to squinch the chat, drop it a little bit. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's see. Hi F. Hi Cryo. Welcome in. Hi Amorous. Hi Monarch. It looks like I got everything. Awesome. 7-stream streak from Monarch. Oh,
That was easy.
that was easy. It was. Welcome in, Tidal Wave of Grills. Okay. So I finally was not so lazy that I didn't finally put together a copyright flag-free, copyright safe from copyright flags playlist, since games like Pax Historia don't have their own music. Unfortunately... Oh, I should put some of the Michael Meddy stuff in, but most Christian music and stuff that I've run in the past gets copyright flagged. So that's a bummer. But let's continue our journey throughout the Napoleonic War era of history. Last time we had just, and also let me know, if the volume of the music is good, if it needs to go up, go down, stuff like that. Last time. Actually, I can just do this, can't I? I can have him summarize the game so far. Oh, jeez!
Did I jump scare you?
Yes.
I bet I did.
Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, man. Well, at least we got this. Remove that. Not because it's not copyright free, but because I don't want to. You know what? I'm restarting this playlist right now. Miss Q. I'm playing it without shuffling it. I was so locked in, I didn't even get startled. I apologize for that ripoff. So, got a friend. Yes, we took over Florida. We've got a friend of the stream. Well, yeah, Chombles. And he does make music. He's a VTuber. I read out to a lot and hang out. And I asked him if I was able to just use his music as background music. So that's what I started out the list with. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 songs from him. Technically 5 because one of the songs is just an instrumental of one of the other songs, but so yeah, I'll run his music first. Because I like it. So let's see the October 7th, 1808. The Republic stands straightforward. We have moved from fragile experiment to a hardened fortress, bolstered by strange new alliances and tangible victories. Let's see how well this does. So we started off. The start off was basically the beginning of the Napoleonic Wars, right after Napoleon sold the Louisiana Purchase to the U.S. Napoleon dominates continents, now bogged down in the Peninsular War. His victory at Vimero was reversed by Wellesley. Spain is in open revolt. Nut. This distraction is our greatest shield. France cannot project power across the Atlantic while fighting in Iberia. The British shield, our alliance with London, is robust. The Royal Navy escorts our convoys, and our joint patrols are crushing French privateering. However, remember our Russian accord. We must still deny British warships access to our Pacific ports to maintain that delicate balance. The French threat? Napoleon has legally annulled the Louisiana Purchase, but his ability to reinforce it is nil. His agents stir trouble, but our fortifications are rendering their efforts futile. Our strategic position, territorial integrity. We effectively control Florida. Woo! Having reduced Spanish resistance to the walls of St. Augustine. Our claims stretch unbroken to the Pacific, anchored by the expanded Fort Clatsop and the mighty Louisiana frontier bastion. The Arctic Alliance. The arrival of serial designation F. The intelligent automaton is our crown jewel. Initial collaborations at Springfield have already yielded superior steel alloys. The secret technology could could revolutionize our defenses before any enemy realizes the game has changed. Yes, we did get a self-insert of F into here. Naval dominance. Our new sloop squadron and privateers are hunting French raiders with impunity. The Atlantic is becoming an American lake, guarded by British frigates and American speed. Whoa. Yo, this slaps. Accelerate Project Vulcan. Leverage F's genius. Oh, this is recommendations. Okay. We don't need the recommendations yet. So that's where we stand, basically. Let's look at our chats. So let's see what happened in the last one. So we got a bunch of stuff because F came in. So now where would I want to go? Like, what would we aim for? I want this. I want this. Whoa! Where'd it go? Aim for Illinois or Kansas. I have to reload this. That was very bizarre. Okay. This is what I want. This empty area. I tried to conquer it before, but now I should just be very specific. Okay, so. Info. What if I just say attack? Does that just pop up in here or what? What do I watch out for the tornadoes or you might end up somewhere else. Let's see here. Okay, F. How would I word this? Take control of sure. I'm pretty sure this is the song that... Oh, jeez! I have completely forgotten about that redeem. Okay. So, if you haven't figured out how this all works, basically we're giving an AI instructions on what we want to do, and it is going to try and take what we say we want to do and act it out while these other historic events were actually happening. So like right now, Napoleon, in this time period, it's 1808, was actually fighting the Napoleonic Wars as he was trying to conquer all of Europe. And America was still trying to get everything figured out. So, it took us a while, but we managed to rip Florida away from Spain. Hold on a minute. Let's just go, like... Scout out. And you guys can feel free to give me what you think I should be having the... Like, what actions I should take. Right now, all of Canada is owned by Britain and the Hudson Bay Company. Welcome in. Welcome back, F. All I did was tell it to take... Hopefully it'll take control of this section over here and to scout out Hawaii. Right now, the closest French thing is right here. The Dominican Republic. We could scout out the Dominican Republic. Haiti, we don't want to touch Haiti. We could form an alliance with Haiti. But I mean, they're their own independent nation. They've done no wrong to us. The British Empire owns all this area. So the way we got Florida was the Seminole peoples were already becoming displeased with the Spanish rule. So the Seminole, the native people, so we went in and gave them a bunch of supplies to help them disrupt order and stuff, which got us Florida. So we could, in theory, try this again in some of this places down here. Like, we could, if we scout out the Dominican Republic, let's send scouts to the Dominican Republic on a reconnaissance. I don't know how to spell reconnaissance. There we go. Mission. Did you give them guns? I don't know, but I gave one to Pikachu. But I gave one to Pikachu. Nice. I don't know if... Okay, so we do... Like, guns exist in 1808, right? I'm looking this up. Pretty sure they already exist. Yeah. Guns were invented in 10th century China. You armed the electric rat, but not people who fight a country. We could see what the advisor wants to do with F. He already gave us a... Oh, global tension and U.S. position. I didn't look at this chart. Let's see if it loads. Oh, wait, there is a chart, right? I thought there was a chart, not a map. Go down. Oh, that was at the way... Okay, so here's our chart. We've got territorial control. U.S. has the least. Naval. Does the U.S. beat anyone? Ooh, we have the technological edge thanks to F. Diplomatic isolation is good. Okay, so immediate recommendations. Accelerate Project Vulcan. Task F with redesigning our field of artillery for greater mobility and range. Okay. So we're just gonna do this. And we're just gonna, like, paste it. Called technology rhymes with grug. Guys, look in the chat. F has RAM. Get him. Get him before the AI company does. Here's a toaster. Let's see what else it says. Do not invade Cuba or push into Texas. Fully integrate the Seminole allies into our frontier defense system. Offer them formal protection status. Oh, okay. We'll do this. That's a good idea. Let Spain fume. Their rejection of our Texas offer matters little when they cannot reclaim Florida. Wait for the European chaos to settle further before making new territorial demands. Give up the RAM and no one gets hurt. Okay, so we've got, like, our good strategy stuff. So, something it keeps wanting me to forget about is a little thing that I came up with on my own here. And that is the experimental reptile unit. The experimental reptile unit is my pride and joy. It's my baby. Okay? I started it when we were still trying to conquer Florida. Mark Zuckerberg. So what it is we have moved forward with training alligators and venomous snakes by raising them from birth. Let's see what the advisor report on the snakes is. My gosh. You request a status update on our most unconventional asset, the experimental reptile unit. Has evolved from a fringe curiosity into a specialized, albeit niche, component of our southern defense strategy. Okay. So. Psychological impact. The snakes... The alligators have the largest psychological impact. It's hilarious, the stuff they were saying. Like, local soldiers keep claiming, keep spreading stories about the snake army. The snakes have better mobility. Lethality? Let's see. So what other reptiles should we keep let's just say expand the experimental reptile unit and continue training. Well, the metal F is just kind of yours. I think they've just kind of made it like a gift. Like, say, figure that's just a gift from you, F. Anyone got any ideas for reptiles that they should start trying to train in the reptile unit? Hmm. Do you mean like the poison dart frog? Like that tree frog? Um, Beginner research. Training into using poison dart frog. For combat. A new part, thank you for the hydrate, just a moment, of the reptile unit. Okay. You know what? I think this is good enough. So let's move forward. Let's see what we're gonna do. Let's see if we actually get this land this time. Next major event. Welcome back, Monarch. Our actions for this next turn are take control of this area, scout out Hawaii, send scouts to Dominican Republic, accelerate the Project Vulcan, strengthen all this stuff, expand reptile unit, continue training, begin research into using poison dart tree frogs for combat as a new part of the reptile unit. And we are sending it. It's the next major event. Let's see how successful any of our actions are. Hey! Our scouts got to Hawaii. Following orders from Washington, a specialized reconnaissance vessel departed the Pacific Northwest to survey the Hawaiian Islands. The crew mapped key anchorages in Oahu and Hawaii Island, noting the strategic potential for future coaling stations and trade hubs, while local chiefs maintained sovereignty. The Americans established friendly contact, exchanging iron tools for fresh provisions. This expedition marked the first formal U.S. government presence in the Central Pacific, laying groundwork for future influence far beyond the North American continent. So, we have made friendly first contact. Which is a good thing. Yeah, Amorous, did you see the video I posted? They announced the new free update characters coming next month. And then May. Let's see. Okay. Love this! Love this song! Okay. So, looks like our scouts have arrived in the Dominican Republic. Around the world. American intelligence operatives landed secretly on the eastern coast of Hispaniola to assess the volatile situation in Santo Domingo, with the region fractured. Well, these are just our scouts so far. Between French remnants, Spanish loyalists, and rebel factions, the scouts gathered critical data on fortifications and political allegiances. Their mission was strictly observational, avoiding direct engagement while identifying potential allies for future U.S. interests in the Caribbean. The instability of the island presented both risks and opportunities for American expansionism. Project Vulcan. Looks like F is helping us out again. At the Springfield Armory, the collaboration between human engineers and the entity F. Oh, they're bolding your name now, F. Produced a breakthrough in metallurgy. New alloy formulas allowed for the casting of cannon barrels that were significantly lighter yet capable of withstanding higher powder charges. These Vulcan-patterned guns promised greater mobility for American forces in the dense forests of Florida and the rugged western frontiers. The secret project remained classified, but its implications for battlefield superiority were immediately recognized by the War Department. Formal pact integrates Seminole warriors into the U.S. frontier defense. In a historic agreement signed near St. Augustine, USA officially recognized Seminole bands as protected allies in exchange for permanent border security. The treaty granted the Seminoles autonomy over their internal affairs while committing them to defend the Florida frontier against Spanish incursions or foreign agitators. This integration transformed irregular insurgent groups into a structured frontier militia, effectively extending the American military reach without the cost of additional regular regiments. The move solidified U.S. control over the peninsula and marginalized remaining Spanish authority. Okay, into the stuff that matters. The reptiles. No, I'm just kidding. All of it matters for this. Building on previous successes with snakes, the War Department authorized the inclusion of poison dart tree frogs in the experimental reptile use program. Researchers in Georgia began collecting specimens from southern swamps, attempting to condition them for area denial roles in jungle warfare. Early results were mixed due to the frog's sensitivity to climate, the potential for deploying toxic biological agents in confined defensive positions. What the hell? I mean, I guess I'll leave this in for now. No, I gotta skip. Throwing off my vibe. Time to condition that. So, deploying intrigued military planners, the program remained highly secretive, known only to a select few officers. Ooh! Wait, this is their war. So we'll just read the headlines. Forced land in Portugal to support the uprising. Okay. First British victory on Iberian soil. Oh, that's not good. Stop blacking out the map because you're freaking out. There we go. Napoleon entered Spain to personally crush the rebellion. Well, maybe he'll stay over there. Oh, wait, did we get it? We got it! His claim is, taking advantage of the European distraction, American surveyors or small naval detachment. Why would you want the naval detachment? This is all inland. Raise the flag. The region previously unoccupied, largely ignored by major powers, was declared a territory of the United States. The move was executed with minimal fanfare, but significant strategy intent, securing another foothold in the shifting global order. With France bogged down in Spain, Britain focused on Portugal, the annexation proceeded without immediate opposition. Oh, they just named it that. That's so stupid. So French forces retake Madrid. British and Portuguese forces win. Convention repatriates French troops from Portugal. U.S. accelerates fortification of new territories. I should. But it's also kind of funny to think of, like, oh, there's an uncertain badass out there somewhere. The War Department will rapid construction of defensive works in these regions at surveying sites. The Louisiana Frontier Bastion received additional reinforcements. Hold its expanded borders permanently. Good. Napoleon prepares to drive the British into the sea. Well, that's an interesting headline. So. Oh, dude. The Swiss? Are the Swiss anywhere else? I don't think so. Poor Swiss. They're about to get, like, eaten by the French Empire. Wait, what's this? West Africa's unowned. What if we just, like, took all of Africa? That'd be hilarious. Okay, so that's a nice unbroken thing of blue right there. So I'd be willing to let them keep California. I don't know if we're looking at having a better America. I think not having California would be like key to having better America. So as always, a new chat started. Napoleon is marching north to trap our forces under Moore. We require your privateers to intensify harassment of British supply lines in the Bay of Biscay to stretch their logistics. Can the USA commit to this immediate pressure? Woo! So now they're asking us to actively put our soldiers into the wars in Europe. Right? Where is the Bay of Biscay? Am I gonna have to look up the Bay of Biscay? You dare? You dare make me do that? It's gonna make me do that. Honestly, I don't think America should really... Oh, man. my hunger for rapid expansion has led us into a lot of treaties that they're all calling on now. West side of France. Whoa. More down. Okay. So it's... I mean, it's not that bad. What's this? Should I could just invite France. That would be so stupid. Strategic advice. The winter of consolidation. Stronger than at its dawn, the shadows of empire lengthen. Napoleon has crushed the Third Coalition, now turns his full gaze to Spain, while our own borders bristle with new defenses and strange alliances. Whoa. Naval power. British Empire, obviously. The US still has the tech innovation. And we are very close to having the highest economic stability. So priority one is to keep getting as much use out of F as possible. Oh, that's a good idea. Whoops-a-daisies. Sure. Okay. We'll just say okay. Don't worry, they're Britain. They're not gonna use the accidental leak of extremely confidential information against us. This is where I wanted to put this. Create a qualitative edge. If France or Spain ever manages to land troops, they should face artillery that outranges and outpaces their own. Halt all plans for invading Texas or Cuba. Sure. Continue to treat F as honored guest and partner. Ooh. Ooh, that's really good. So we're gonna ask F if he'll, establish an outpost in high Arctic to monitor Russian and British movements in the north. By the time Napoleon resolves Spanish situation, we will be an impregnable fortress. With superior technology and secure borders, he will be forced to accept the loss of Louisiana and Florida as a fait accompli. If we push into Texas, we risk waking a sleeping giant. A unified Spanish-French effort, however unlikely, could open a second front we are not prepared to fight. Simultaneously, with potential British friction in the Pacific, okay, so yeah, we should just do everything he said, but also establish communications with rebels in the Dominican Republic. And, you know what? We invented baseball, so let's establish Major League Baseball. Yeah, just for the hell of it, dude. Rename uncertain BA to Funky Town. Everyone ought to like that change. What's this? British Columbia. Rename British Columbia. Rename British Columbia. Huh. I actually don't have a name in mind. No one got any ideas for this land renaming? Oh goodness, I gotta run ads in like 10 minutes. Let's rename it to Better France. Well, this is British Empire, so that should theoretically be safe to not have to worry about these islands. Wait, Does this land not count as land? This is clearly land. Let's see if it'll even recognize it. And we send it. Oh joy. Let's do it. Let's see what it does. What's doing that? Yeah, there's a lot of like, eventually this list will be so full we won't be having a majority of, we won't have a majority of the songs be from Persona 5. Oh, right. I should do that. And I'll go get a new drink. Good idea, F. I'll be back. Welcome back. Unfortunately, the generation failed. So we're just gonna have to go regularly. No. I'm not doing that again. That was like 3 to 4 minutes, and it didn't end up with anything. We've done it. Sorry, I'm making a new drink right now. This is my favorite song from Super Mario Odyssey. Project Vulcan yields a revolutionary field artillery. Oh my gosh, let me hit a button. Wait, do I have options for like stable audio? Really, they don't have the stable audio option in YouTube Music. That's where it would be the best. That's really dumb. Okay. At Springfield Armory, the collaboration between human engineers and F produced a breakthrough in metallurgy. You already did that, but now I guess it's doing better. Wait a minute. Keep going. Oh, now there's a second one. My dinner did arrive, so I will be nomming. Yes, the sequel to Wellesley's Expedition Force. They made a sequel! Okay. So for some reason, it's running everything again. It ran the last turn again. Which is weird, but I'll take it because it kind of doubled up all the actions we did last time. There it is! Okay. In a series of administrative decrees, the USA officially renamed Uncertain BA to Funky Town and British Columbia to Better France, reflecting the nation's growing confidence and unique cultural identity. Simultaneously, representatives of various clubs met in New York to codify the rules of Major League Baseball, formalizing a sport that had gained popularity amongst soldiers and civilians. These domestic developments boosted national morale amidst the ongoing international tensions. We've got baseball, Funky Town, and Better France. Love to see it. Okay. No! You're supposed to be Funky Town. Did it at least change this? No, it didn't. Oh well. We tried. You know what? You know what will really help our national morale? Inventing Mountain Dew. Baja Blast. That'll really help us out. Trust me, I'm a military genius. Okay. So that took me way back to the beginning again. Ah. Take me all the way back down. Okay. So we need to do this again. Maybe it'll actually accept these things this time instead of just redoing everything. We really want these new weapons getting mass-produced. Establish communications with the rebels in the Dominican Republic. And let's actually send it and actually have it work this time. Okay, I think it's gonna work this time. Just a minute. It worked. Under the secret guidance of F, engineers at the Springfield Research Division completed the first batch of Vulcan pattern guns. These new field cannons utilized a revolutionary steel alloy. Sorry, something gets stuck in my throat. Gotta take a drink. These new fuel cans utilize a revolutionary steel alloy, allowing barrels to be cast significantly lighter without sacrificing durability, unprecedented mobility. The War Department immediately ordered the distribution of Coastal Defense Brigade in the Mississippi garrisons, marking a quiet but decisive leap in artillery technology. Madrid receives American note with firm note reiterating desire for peace while halting invasion. Arrived in Mexico City, was forwarded to Madrid. The Spanish crown, reeling from Napoleon's betrayal and the uprising in the peninsula, viewed the American gesture with deep skepticism. All the halts on Texas-Cuba operations was noted. The continued occupation of Florida and the arming of Seminole allies remained unforgivable grievances. King Ferdinand VII's ministers debated whether to accept the de facto situation or issue another protest, ultimately deciding to remain a stance of armed neutrality while secretly hoping for French intervention to reclaim the lost province. Whoa! Following extensive discussions at the Executive Mansion, the intelligent Fox entity, F, accepted the proposal to establish a remote monitoring outpost in the high Arctic. Equipped with supplies and specialized instruments provided by the U.S. government, F embarked on a perilous journey northward aboard a reinforced whaler. The mission aimed to create an early warning system capable of tracking Russian naval movements from Alaska and British expeditions from the Canadian archipelago. This unique diplomatic and scientific venture represented a bold expansion of American intelligence capabilities into the most inhospitable regions of the globe, relying entirely on the enigmatic abilities of their strange ally. Covert agents previously stationed in Santo Domingo successfully initialed formal communications with leaders of the anti-French resistance in the eastern part of Hispaniola. Operating in the shadows of the collapsing colonial order, American diplomats offered promises of future support and trade in exchange for intelligence on French fortifications and troop dispositions. The rebels, desperate for any external aid against the occupying forces, welcomed the overture with cautious optimism. This clandestine alliance positioned the USA to potentially influence the outcome of the struggle for Santo Domingo, extending American reach into the heart of the Caribbean conflict without committing regular troops. British reached whatever roughly 16,000 British troops held off 20,000 French veterans, allowing the evacuation to proceed. However, during fierce rearguard action, General Moore was struck by a cannonball and mortally wounded. His death cast a somber shadow over the successful evacuation, yet the survival of the army preserved Britain's ability to continue the fight in the peninsula, proving that Napoleon's forces could be checked even in retreat. Acting on orders to reinforce the city against desperate counterattacks, engineers and laborers in Florida worked feverishly to strengthen the defenses of St. Augustine. Newer earthworks were raised, and the recently delivered Vulcan-patterned cannons were emplaced along the seaward walls covering the harbor approaches from Cuba. The Coastal Defense Brigade conducted rigorous drills, preparing for a sudden assault by Spanish privateers or a frantic expedition from Havana. While Madrid had not yet authorized a full-scale invasion, the atmosphere in the city was tense, with every sail on the horizon viewed as a potential threat to the fragile American hold on the peninsula. I'd say our hold is a bit more than fragile. Austria declares war on France. Ooh. Nice. It's weird that they're only now declaring war on France when Napoleon already invaded them and took this whole area. Taking advantage of the renewed European conflict, French privateers intensified their attacks on American merchant vessels in the Atlantic and Caribbean. Citing the annulment of the Louisiana Purchase and America's alliance with Britain, French captains seized several ships laden with tobacco and cotton off the coast of Virginia. The Atlantic Anti-Privateer Squadron and the new Sloop Squadron scrambled to intercept the raiders, leading to a series of sharp naval skirmishes. The surge in piracy threatened to strangle American commerce once again, testing the effectiveness of the Anglo-American naval cooperation and the resolve of the Jefferson administration. In the humid swamps of Georgia, researchers from the Experimental Reptile Unit conducted preliminary trials with the venomous poison dart tree frogs. Handlers attempted to condition the amphibians to associate specific scents with food sources, hoping to deploy them as area denial weapons in jungle warfare scenarios. Early results were mixed. The frogs were exhibited potent toxicity. Their sensitivity to temperature and handling made them difficult to control in the field. Despite the challenges, military planners remain intrigued by the potential for biological ambush tactics, ordering further study into safe deployment methods for these tiny but deadly allies. Yeah, Napoleon, you're rushing to Austria. Okay, Serial. Okay, F. Lay it on me. No, it's still named. Spring offensive in Portugal. Austrian forces cross some river. Mountain Dew Baja Blast concept drafted in Philadelphia. Curious diversion for wartime industry, a group of innovators in Philadelphia began experimenting with a new citrus-flavored carbonated beverages, drawing on exotic limes extracts traded from Caribbean, sought to create a drink that captured the essence of tropical refreshment. Dubbed Mountain Dew Baja Blast, in early notes, the concoction was initially intended as a morale booster for sailors and frontier soldiers, while production remained small scale and experimental. The unique flavor profile garnered immediately interest among local merchants, into a potential cultural phenomenon. Okay. Now that someone initiated a chat. Britain, you're supposed to be keeping France in check over there. Let's see. Who started something? Coalition coordination talks. Armies have suffered setbacks at Landshut and Napoleon marches. Vienna, we urgently request confirmation. Inquires the United States to increase pressure on French supply lines in the Caribbean to divert the resources. The survival of the coalition depends. Okay. Wellesley's forces in Portugal remain steadfast and are preparing a spring offensive to draw French attention away from your capital. We urge the United States to immediately deploy their private flotillas against the French Caribbean supply lines, as this maritime pressure is vital to stretching Napoleon's logistics while we maneuver in Iberia. Sure. What the heck? Your casual assent is accepted as formal order. We expect your privateers to strike the Caribbean supply lines without delay to relieve the pressure on Vienna. Wellesley will proceed with his offensive in Portugal as planned, ensuring Napoleon faces a two-front war that stretches his resources to the breaking point. Let's move swiftly, for the fate of the coalition now depends on this coordinated pressure from the seas and the Iberian Peninsula. Sure, we'll do that. Let Russia speak. We acknowledge America's commitment to harass French supply lines, which aids our cause as the First Western Army regroups after Ekmuki. While Britain pressures Napoleon, Portugal, Russia must bear the brunt of his main force marching on Vienna. Every disruption you create in Caribbean is vital. Let this coordinated strain on French logistics buy us the time needed to rally our forces for a decisive counterstroke. Your assurances are noted. They offer little comfort, as Archduke Charles retreats towards Vienna with a shattered army. Desperately require these Caribbean raids to commence immediately. For every French supply ship diverted from Europe buys us precious hours to fortify the capital. Do not mistake your gratitude for strength. Without swift action on your part, Austria may fall before Russia can fully mobilize its reserves. Immediately. Okay. Are we gonna end up in a loop again? Because if we're gonna end up in a loop again, I'm just gonna cut off the conversation. I think we're in a loop again. Ba, 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 ba. Come on, there we go. Let's see what our advisor has to say. Deploy the American... Okay. This is said much better. No, stop typing things. There we go. We do this. Ooh, dispatch a single, visibly decrepit vessel laden with obsolete iron scraps into the main shipping lanes. Let French privateers waste time and resources capturing a worthless prize. Consolidate the funky town. We do this. We do this. We fracture Napoleon's... Ooh. Okay. So that's a lot of good idea. And then... Organize MLB Championship Tournament. You know, we gotta keep morale up. On mass production of Baja Blast. Ask American public what help raise their morale. Send. Oh. Immediately, your plan is the first thing to get something. Acting on a cunning stratagem from Washington, the decrepit vessel Liberty's Folly sailed deliberately into the main Atlantic shipping lanes, laden with nothing but rusted iron scraps and ballast. French privateers, eager for profit amidst the Fifth Coalition, spotted the slow target and gave chase, only to discover upon boarding they'd captured a floating junkyard. While the raiders wasted days towing the useless hulk, the American privateer flotilla and new sloop squadron operated unseen nearby, striking at genuine French supply convoys heading for the Caribbean. The ruse successfully diverted enemy attention and resources, proving that American ingenuity could outmaneuver French aggression without direct fleet engagement. Good. Good work, F. Following orders to relieve pressure on Austria, the American privateer flotilla and new sloop squadron launched a coordinated offensive against French logistics in the Caribbean. How do you guys say it? Caribbean or Caribbean? Dozens of merchant vessels bound for St. Domingue and Martinique were intercepted, boarded, or sunk, causing a critical shortage of munitions and food for French garrisons. The sudden intensity of the raids forced Napoleon to divert naval assets from European waters to protect colonial trade routes, subtly easing the strain on the embattled coalition forces in Central Europe. This aggressive maritime campaign demonstrated USA's commitment to the alliance and its capacity to project power far beyond its shores. Funky Town transformed. But it's still called Uncertain BA. Wait, March 5th, 1809. Yeah, but I want you to formally change the territory. Arctic Wa. From the frozen reaches, F transmitted the first intelligence reports via the watch station. The monitoring outpost detected increased Russian naval activity near Alaska and British exploratory expeditions pushing north from Canada. These early warnings allowed Washington to adjust its Pacific defenses and diplomatic posture before any potential threats materialized. The success of this unique partnership validated the decision to employ F's enigmatic abilities, granting the USA an unprecedented strategic advantage in their remote northern theaters. In a spirited display of national unity, the first Major League Baseball championship tournament kicked off in New York, drawing crowds from across the Republic. Teams representing various states competed fiercely, embodying the democratic ideals and competitive spirit of the young nation. The event provided a welcome distraction from the anxieties of war, boosting public morale and fostering a sense of shared identity among citizens. As players took the field, the crack of the bat became a symbol of American resilience, echoing through stadiums filled with cheering fans who found solace in the game. Factories in Philadelphia shifted gears to begin mass production of the revolutionary beverage Baja Blast. Originally conceived as a morale booster for troops, the drink's refreshing taste made it a favorite among civilians. Bottling plants work around the clock, meet soaring demand. Distributing creates the vibrant green soda at ports, frontier outposts, and city markets alike. The successful commercialization of Baja Blast not only lifted spirits, but also stimulated local economies, proving that innovation could thrive even in times of global conflict. Responding to the administration's query, the American public voiced a resounding desire for continued expansion, technological advancement, and decisive action against European aggressors. Town halls and newspapers overflowed with patriotic fervor as citizens expressed confidence in their leaders and a willingness to support the war effort. This groundswell of support emboldened Congress to approve further funding for military projects in Western settlement. The clear mandate from the people strengthened the government's resolve, ensuring that the nation remained united and focused on securing its future amidst international turmoil. Napoleon enters Vienna. Launches spring offensive in Portugal. Napoleon checked at last. In a fierce engagement on the banks of the Danube, Archduke Charles launched a surprise counterattack against Napoleon's forces attempting to cross the river near Vienna. The Battle of Essling saw roughly 90,000 Austrians clash with 75,000 French troops, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. For the first time in over a decade, Napoleon suffered a tactical defeat, forced to withdraw across the river after sustaining over 20,000 losses. The victory revitalized Austrian morale and proved the emperor was not invincible.
That was easy.
You're right, that was easy. Okay, so Napoleon finally lost. French privateers retaliate against American shipping. What if we start bribing French naval vessels with Baja Blast? Guys, I don't think the rest of the world fully understands how amazing Baja Blast is and how addictive it would be in this time period. Because if you think about it, where we have ended up right now in modern real world history with how high the high sugar content and caffeine content in sodas is because it's been building up over decades and decades and decades, slowly raising our tolerance. But if we slam them with something like this right now, it's either going to kill them or get them addicted. It'll be like when Britain got Chinese people addicted to opium. Okay. Sorry, I got a phone call I had to take. Stung by the devastation of their Caribbean supply lines, French privateers launched a series of retaliatory raids on American merchant vessels in the Atlantic. Several ships carrying tobacco and grain were captured off the coast of Virginia, prompting outrage in Washington. The Atlantic Anti-Privateer Squadron responded swiftly, engaging the raiders in sharp naval skirmishes, recapturing some prizes. Despite these efforts, the surge of privacy highlighted the ongoing risk of Anglo-American alliance need. We should talk to F about... see if he can help us develop better, faster, more powerful ships. Okay, so they're helping, good. Vulcan cannons deployed to Mississippi. Coalition regroups as Austria prepares for Wagram. Following the setback of Aspern-Essling, Napoleon spent weeks reinforcing his army, preparing bridge across the Danube, preparing for another massive assault. Archduke Charles fortified position near village of Wagram, anticipating the next French blow. Russia accelerated its march westward, promising to join the battle soon, while Britain intensified its offensive in Portugal. The stage was set for a climactic confrontation that would determine the fate of the Fifth Coalition and the balance of power in Europe. Tensions mountain as both sides gather the strength for the impending showdown. With the Battle of Wagram looming, French privateers harassing American shores, the Jefferson administration convened an emergency session to assess the nation's strategic position. Intelligence from the Arctic Watch Station and Caribbean operatives indicated that France was stretching its resources to the breaking point. However, the risk of a full-scale invasion of North America remained if Napoleon decided to retaliate decisively. The president faced a pivotal choice: escalate support for the coalition with direct military intervention, or maintain the current course of economic warfare and defensive consolidation. The outcome of this deliberation would shape the future of the young republic. Who initiated chat? Britain. Okay. First, we gotta cover the most important things here, okay? This is still called uncertain. And change all relevant names accordingly. Area. And okay. Copy. Colombia to better France. The whole point of naming a better France is to piss off Napoleon. So it needs to happen. Now let's check in on here. Napoleon concentrates full might against Austria. We urge the U.S. to consider escalating its involvement beyond privateering. Perhaps a direct naval blockade of French ports or landing in Iberia could tip the scales. Dude, they give so many credits on this website. I still haven't paid anything. Now, if I wanted to have more in-depth AI, I would very likely have to pay stuff. But I chose, like, the cheapest option. Armies are regrouping east of Vienna. Okay, F. Face Napoleon's full concentration for the coming battle at Wagram, while a direct American landing in Iberia or blockade would be welcome. Our immediate need is for you to maintain a maximum pressure on French Caribbean supply lines to starve his logistics. We cannot offer new territorial concessions. Your interest against French annulment claims are over. The gravity of Wagram, yet our first Western Army in Silesia. Oh, the British is confused about that. Okay, let me go see where Silesia is. Can't you tell me where Silesia is? Game, you're supposed to be able to just warp me to Silesia. Like, why wouldn't you be able to? Well, let's look. Silesia. There. Our first Western Army in Silesia requires more time to fully concentrate before we can deliver a decisive blow to Napoleon's rear. That is an amazing line. Let me run ads. We endorse deeper integration. America's immediate priority must remain the strangulation of French Caribbean logistics to weaken the Grande Armées. Welcome in, Faucher. Right now, we have completely derailed the Napoleonic Wars. America. Continue and strengthen. Our effects on the French Caribbean logistics. Yeah, I just got into Pax Historia last week. So Russia and Austria liked that. But Britain's like, screw you. Okay. Precisely, the strategic letter require while Wellesley rest assured the Royal Navy will maintain its shield over your land commerce against any French retaliation as you execute these raids, with Austria holding the line at Wagram and Russia marching Silesia. The coordinated pressure may well fracture his overextended empire. Yeah, you did come in during an ad break, or when I was running ads. Basically, yeah, I just got into Pax Historia last week after I had tuned into Doug's stream of Pax Historia. This game's a lot of fun, and right now we have basically derailed the Napoleonic Wars in the interest of American expansionism. We actually managed to take Florida away from Spain and settled all this land, and settled this land before the Hudson Bay Company could settle it. And we have even started giving support to and doing a recon in the Dominican Republic. We also have a self-insert character from a chatter serial designation F, who is a futuristic robotic fox creature who has helped us bolster our technological advances so that we have some insanely high technological innovations happening. Because of all of our actions in helping, I accidentally got us into a bunch of treaties that have us helping fight Napoleon. He has tried to revoke the Louisiana Purchase, and he just hasn't had the power to come and take it back yet. And so now we're helping stretch all his supplies thin. Kind of. It's basically just slightly ahead of the time. Oh, also we invented Mountain Dew Baja Blast and founded Major League Baseball. Wait, did it actually rename stuff? No, it has not. Course is set. Continue to guard the flank. Blah, 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 blah. Don't need this chat anymore. It's just going to keep costing me credits. I've been using the advisor a lot. It's been helping quite a bit. Welcome back, F. Oh, also, my personal pet project in this whole thing has been the experimental reptile unit, which, as of right now, is using snakes, alligators, and venomous tree frogs for combat purposes. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Europe is on the knife edge, Caribbean front, domestic morale, the inauguration of Major League Baseball, and mass production of Mountain Dew. And have ignited a surge in national spirit. The public is united, eager, and confident in your leadership. Strengthen. So we're just gonna do this. You have officially renamed Uncertain BA to Funky Town and British Columbia to Better France. Yes, get more people into Funky Town. We love Funky Town. Oh, I need to do it over here. F2 create faster and more powerful ships and boats. Let's throw in... Ooh. Send some units from the experimental mental reptile unit. Into the Dominican Republic to aid the rebels in their mission to overthrow French rule. Okay. I have a list of our current most of the has all the moon and Mars. At first I thought at first I read too quickly and thought it said as well as most of the moon. And I was like, well, that's intriguing.
Fireworks are gonna start.
Let's see. So we have a very okay. Just a minute, we're gonna skip this song. There we go. Wow. That's a big France. Okay, so here is our current tech advancements. While the world sees only our flags and forts beneath the surface, the US is quietly leaping centuries ahead in specific domains. We've got Project Vulcan, which developed a high tensile steel alloy, 40% lighter than standard cast iron, capable of withstanding double the powder charge. The pattern guns are now in place. They offer superior range and mobility. The Arctic Alliance. Mastery of autonomous mechanical logic and remote sensing. Established Arctic Watch Station. Providing real-time intelligence on Russian British movements in the high north. Wow. Communist France. And successful imprinting techniques for venomous snakes and alligators. We can now direct these animals to specific choke points for area denial. Preliminary trials with poison dart tree frogs for toxic ambush tactics in dense jungle terrain. While unpredictable, they serve as a potent psychological deterrent. Design optimization for fast sloops of war, specifically tailored to hunt privateers in shallow Caribbean waters, coupled with the decoy gamut tactics, our naval excels at asymmetry disruption, mass production, morale booster, codification of MLB. Strength lies not in the size but the quality of our tools, secrecy of our allies. Napoleon relies on massed conscripts and traditional siegecraft. We possess artillery that outranges him, spies that see across the ice, and biological assets that terrify his scouts. Continue to shield Project Vulcan and F from foreign eyes. Let Europe fight the wars of the past while we forge weapons of the future. So as you can see, the United States is winning in everything except for naval speed. We've got better bio-warfare, artillery power, intelligence reach, industrial morale. Right now, we're in 1809. So I would say our tech is probably in like the mid-1800s. Let's see. Not sure, F. I'm quite new to all this Pax Historia stuff, so. Yeah. Like, what's this? That's South Dakota? But there's no North Dakota yet. So we should just rename South Dakota to Dakota, because I'm currently naming what would be North Dakota into Funky Town. Ooh. Establish friendly relationship with Haiti. Okay, I'm getting rid of this song. Oof. Already listened to that song too. Slowly, I'm making this playlist a bit slimmer, which is one of my goals for the music. But basically right now, wait a minute. How's the British Empire on that? Oh, British Empire owns Belize? That's crazy. So the way I've been playing this is I just I listen to the advisor and I put in its recommended actions. And then I just start kind of throwing crap at the wall. Because I find that to be fun. And it's resulted in some quite silly things. I'd say the most major stuff we've got is our artillery power thanks to the advanced steel alloys that we have. A polar bear. Well, the most advanced tech is going to be the Vulcan pattern guns. I actually have no idea what they are. Well, I didn't want this. Oh, whatever. I'm sending this. We're gonna see what happens. Somehow, I'd say the most advanced tech is somehow we have the ability for real-time communication from long distances. It's still... working tirelessly with F, American engineers unveiled designs for a new class of hyper-fast sloops utilizing F's advanced metallurgical insights. These vessels featured lighter hulls, reinforced masts capable of sustaining higher speeds in rough Atlantic swells. The first prototype innovation was laid down immediately in Baltimore. Technological leap promised to outpace French privateers and dominate the Caribbean shipping lanes, turning the ocean into a hunting ground where American speed could overcome French numbers. Huh. Yay! In a clandestine operation, handlers from the experimental reptile unit transported crates of conditioned venomous snakes and poisoned dart frogs to the rebellious shores of Santo Domingo. Released into French garrison perimeters and supply depots, these biological agents caused panic and confusion among colonial troops unaccustomed to such unconventional warfare. Reports emerged of French sentries fleeing their posts after encountering swarms of deadly serpents, severely degrading morale. The deployment marked a terrifying evolution in American support for the Dominican rebels, striking fear into the heart of the French occupation without firing a single shot. U.S. formally extended diplomatic recognition to the Republic of Haiti. President Jefferson dispatched an envoy to Port-au-Prince, sign a treaty of friendship and commerce, acknowledging Haiti's sovereignty and its successful revolution against slavery. The move shocked London and Paris, who feared the precedent it set for their own slave colonies. For Haiti, American recognition provided a crucial lifeline of legitimacy and trade. access, forging a unique bond between the two republics born of revolution in the Americas. F reports no polar bear sightings. Confirmed the complete comprehensive survey. No signs of polar bears. While the absence of the great white predator simplifies the logistics, F noted unusual shifts in ice density that suggest changing climatic patterns or distant natal activity. The report reassured Washington or immediate vicinity of a safe. But I didn't want the answer to be no polar bears. I wanted the answer to be many polar bears. I wanted to train the polar bears. Triggered a massive wave of migration. Wagons creaked along newly blazed trails as thousands of families arrived to claim fertile plots, rapidly transforming territory from a sparse frontier into a bustling agricultural hub. Let's see. Yeah, but everyone else is also afraid of polar bears, F. Heeding the call to strangle French logistics, the American Privateer Flotilla and New Sloop Squadron launched a coordinated surge in the Caribbean. Dozens of French supply vessels bound for Saint Domingue were intercepted, boarded, sunk, or captured. The USS Innovation prototype demonstrated superior speed, outrunning French escorts to deliver devastating broadsides. The relentless harassment severed critical supply lines. That's fine. I'm having a lot of fun with it right now. Just kind of throwing really insane things at the wall and seeing if they stick. Just kind of seeing what happens. Forcing Napoleon to divert naval resources away from the European theater. The French colonial governors plead for naval reinforcement. Concentrates forces for the Battle of Wagram. Interesting. Come on. Keep zooming. There we go. 180,000 men. 500 guns. Ooh. That's a lot. Well, I'm really hoping I can use the reptiles to get him out away from us. Okay, let's proceed. Let's see what the chat says. What if it's the fake guns already happened? Austria holds the line. The strain is meant to be urged the U.S. to confirm if their Caribbean interdiction has sufficiently degraded French supplies to impact the battle. Discuss our next moves. They had to waste a lot of time hauling that thing back to France. Our lines of Wagram hold against Napoleon's concentrated fury. Every hour tests the limits of our endurance after the losses. American interdiction has indeed strained their logistics. Full impact remains to be seen. Should we survive this onslaught, Austria will honor our pledge to invalidate France's claims on your western territories. Be assured. Are doing all we can to strain France's resources. Our efforts are noted. Our intelligence from French garrisons are already facing critical shortages. Let's maintain the pressure. Oh, got me. Should Austria hold? Heard in Vienna, words alone cannot stop the French batteries currently pounding our lines on the march field. We hold our ground with desperate courage. Okay. Stuck in a loop now. So let's see here. They still haven't renamed it. Whatever, they'll figure it out eventually. Hopefully. Wait, if I did it over here, will it just immediately put them in? Oh, it will. Give finance down France to police failing. If you fond. Ooh. Good idea. Okay, that's a good one. Ooh. New sloop to ignore all other targets on sinking French ammunition. Fucking. Ooh. Supply. Interesting. Direct privateers to mine key shipping lanes, delaying French reinforcement. Yeah, let's do that. Fortify better France. There we go. And then begin a campaign against Napoleon. Covert in France. We'll see if that does anything. I kinda doubt it will. But you never know. You never know until you try. Give large trophy to winning team of MLB championship. Attempt to get to French vessels with Baja glass. That next, we'll see. I'll think about doing that next turn. Let's see. Begin the research into powerful bomb. F. Aid. Let's see where we're going. Oh, I should have paid attention to the date. Maybe. Undercover Darkness handlers from the Santo Domingo reptile cell released conditioned venomous snakes directly into the perimeter of French command tents near Cap Francais, whatever. The reptiles, trained to associate specific scents with prey, slithered into the sleeping quarters of junior officers' staff clerks. Panic erupted as screams tore through the night, causing a chaotic breakdown in the French chain of command. While no high-ranking generals were killed, the psychological impact was devastating, forcing the evacuation of forward headquarters and delaying critical supply dispatches by 48 hours. You know, these snakes are doing work. I wish they had gotten the alligators there, too. Oh. Come back, map. There we go. Neutralize. Okay. American squadrons focus exclusively on sinking French ammunition barges. 6 heavily laden transports in a single week. The lost powder and shot destined for Napoleon's armies at Wagram created a critical shortage in the French artillery parks. This targeted interdiction campaign demonstrated the strategic value of American naval power in shaping the outcome of European battles. Okay, so we got better metal and everything onto the new ships. Grain convoy arrives in Lisbon to sustain Wellesley's offensive. A massive convoy of American grain and beef, escorted by Royal Navy frigates, docked safely in Lisbon, delivering vital sustenance to Sir Arthur Wellesley's army. timely arrival of these supplies allowed the British commander to accelerate his spring offensive against Marshal Soult without waiting for slower shipments from England. Portuguese civilians cheered the arrival of the food, seeing it as a sign of enduring American commitment to the liberation of the peninsula. This logistical lifeline ensured that the Allied forces remained well-fed and ready for the grueling campaign ahead. Watch clarifies Better France naming convention to London. A formal diplomatic note arrived in London explaining the renaming of British Columbia to Better France is purely a cultural designation intended to boost domestic morale, not a challenge to British sovereignty or the military alliance. British ministers, initially confused by the provocative name, accepted the explanation with amused tolerance, recognizing it as an eccentricity of the young republic. The clarification reaffirmed the strength of the Anglo-American partnership, ensuring that administrative quirks did not undermine the serious business of defeating Napoleon. Trade and naval cooperation continued uninterrupted. Covert propaganda begins in France. Operating through underground networks and sympathetic printers, American agents began distributing clandestine pamphlets across France criticizing Napoleon's endless wars and the conscription of French youth. Propaganda highlighted the suffering of families and the economic strain of the continental system, aiming to erode public support for the emperor. While immediate effects were limited by strict censorship, the seeds of dissent were planted in urban centers like Lyon and Bordeaux. This psychological warfare complemented the military pressure applied by the coalition on multiple fronts. MLB Championship Trophy awarded amidst national celebration. In a grand ceremony in New York, the winning team of the inaugural Major League Baseball championship received a massive silver trophy commissioned by the government. The event drew thousands of spectators, fostering a sense of national unity and pride during a time of global conflict. President Jefferson praised the athletes as embodiments of American vigor and fair play, linking the spirit of the game to the nation's struggle for liberty. The celebration provided a welcome respite from war news, reinforcing baseball's status as the national pastime. Bribe French vessels yields mixed result. In a bizarre diplomatic gambit, American agents attempted to distribute crates of Mountain Dew Baja Blast to French privateer captains in the Caribbean, hoping the unique citrus flavor would soften their hostility. While some crews enjoyed the refreshing drink, the majority viewed the gesture with suspicion, refusing to be bribed by a foreign soda. A few isolated incidents of fraternization occurred, but the overall impact on French rating intensity was negligible. The experiment highlighted the limits of cultural diplomacy in the face of entrenched geopolitical rivalry. How could they refuse Baja Blast? Project Bombard. Research into powerful explosives begins with F. At the Springfield Research Division, the NCF initiated a top-secret collaboration with American chemists to develop new, more powerful explosive compounds, utilizing F's advanced understanding of molecular stability. The team began synthesizing prototypes that promised significantly greater destructive yield than traditional black powder. Early tests in controlled environments showed promising results, suggesting potential applications for siege warfare and naval mines. The project, codenamed Bombard, remained strictly classified, known only to the highest level of the War Department. Oh no. That's no good. Come on, keep loading. After 2 days of brutal fighting, the Grand Armée forced archers to retreat, securing tactical victory. The French suffered over 32,000 casualties. The Austrian loss exceeded 40,000. Austrian army withdrew in good order, preserving its ability to continue the war. The victory exhausted Napoleon's forces, highlighted the growing resilience of the coalition, especially given the logistical strains caused by American privateers. Advances into Spain. Following French distraction. Nice. Explain. Explain. Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, I've got these alligators. And I'll just strap the bombs onto them and tell them to go to France. position. With the armistice in Europe and the successful execution of its own aggressive campaigns, the Jefferson administration convened to assess the nation's standing. Caribbean interdiction had proven highly effective. The western frontiers were secure. Technological partnerships with F yielded tangible military advantages. However, the survival of Napoleon's regime meant the threat of French retribution lingered. The cabinet debated whether to push for a formal peace treaty with France based on the status quo or to prepare for a prolonged conflict of attrition, leveraging American naval superiority and industrial innovation. Plus, I don't think I'll need nukes to take down the French Empire. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, we only have like an hour left of stream. Doug did a lot. Sweep the low. Oh. Ooh. There we go. Yeah. So. So, let's see. You would be our second my second French viewer. That's thank you for the follow. Poacher. Not sure exactly how to say your username. I'll say Poacher. Thank you for the follow. Pleasure to have you here. And if you have Discord, you can join the Discord. Poacher. Nice. Successfully severed French line. So. Ride covert arms. Yes. Mass produce field pieces. Authorize. Oh, I can do multiple. Okay. New sloop. Yes. Collapsed in St. Augustine, the former Pax Historia warriors, or stabilized frontier, stand array, siege and capture. Yeah, get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Already did that. And then we can, like, do other stuff, I guess. Let's see. Yeah? Well, it is quite fun. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I... Huh. Lost City of... Yeah. Yeah? Well, at this point, I'm trying to... remain relatively nice to people while that big war is going on. Since we're still a new country. I don't want to go super duper evil or warlike. Recommendations on improving the reptile units. And then let's see. We would want... Yeah, I don't think that's gonna change. Oh well. Wait, could I change it? No. Yeah. I suppose that's true. Okay, so we got rid of French agents. Sure. Let's hear it. American sustains the offensive in Spain. Massive beef. Docked safely. Snakes infiltrate French commando. Now hold on a minute. It's doing that same thing it did before. There we go. There we go. Extending the monitoring range. Lost City of Atlantis. Hey, cool. Genetic selection. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not no. New explosive. Bombardment. The heavy shells pounded, causing significant damage. Panic. Seminole allies tighten the land blockade, cutting off all supply routes. Marked a decisive escalation. We will officially overtake all of Florida. Too strong to launch it. I have 50% of the nukes. I have orbital laser, space army. Oh, that's super armor. Bro, you guys just need to get out of Florida before I literally bomb you into the Stone Age. Wow, a lot of stuff's happening up here. Where's this? Massachusetts. I thought it was Massachusetts. Oh, that's because this is where all this stuff is happening. The lab. What's this? Oh, it's Boston. Nice. So. Also get best actions. See, we have way better technology, and we are starting to get real good with our economic stability. We beat French power, the French Empire in naval power, technology, economic stability. They beat us in land army and diplomatic influence. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just literally control the planet itself. That's crazy, dude. Let's see. The moment of truth. Spain has formally rejected our ultimatum. So, our Florida and Caribbean operations. Active siege zone. Fortified frontier. Covert. Friendly allied nation. U.S. supply and troop base. Ooh. Cool. So, it's time we stop messing around. And we start just demanding stuff. Yeah. I know about Mars being like Earth, or kind of like Earth at one point. Demographically undeniable. It's a funky town. Ooh. Get this out there. We must get rid of Spain and Florida. Ooh. Yeah, do that. Yay. Yonk. Ooh, yeah, do that. Yes. And yes. You know what? Without any manual entrances from me, we're gonna see how that will work for this one. Just all the AI suggestions. I do need to run ads. So I'll run a minute 30. Okay. Ooh. Wow. They have quite a grip on everything, it sounds. Quite the control. So, we finally got Spain to leave Florida. Facing total annihilation with no hope of relief from Havana, the Spanish commander of St. Augustine raised the white flag. The Coastal Defense Brigade accepted unconditional surrender, marking the end of organized Spanish resistance in Florida. American troops marched into the ruined city, securing the keys to the fortress amidst the smoke of battle. The fall of St. Augustine effectively transferred sovereignty of the entire peninsula to the USA, marginalizing Spain's presence in North America. Madrid received the news with shock, realizing their colonial hold on the region had been permanently severed by American technological superiority. We did it. We now officially have Florida. In a covert night operation, the Santo Domingo Reptile Cell released conditioned venomous snakes into French officer quarters near Cap Français. The reptiles, trained to strike, caused chaos and heavy casualties among the French leadership. Panic ensued as officers fled their tents, disrupting command structures and delaying critical supply dispatches. This biological assault accelerated the collapse of French authority. Well, they're certainly losing on this side of the world. Emboldening the local rebel factions, the psychological impact was devastating, with surviving French troops whispering of serpent armies sent by the Americans. Whoa! Whoa, what just happened? Following the successful reptile operations and the crumbling of French control, the U.S. formally recognized the rebel government of Santo Domingo. President Jefferson dispatched an envoy to sign a treaty of friendship and military aid, legitimizing the new state. The announcement shocked European courts, particularly Paris, which viewed the move as a direct intervention in its colonial affairs. American weapons and supplies began flowing to the rebels, replacing covert biological support with open military assistance. This diplomatic breakthrough established a friendly buffer state in the Caribbean, extending American influence deep into the region. Where did he go? I don't know what just happened. The Dominican Republic is now unclaimed territory. The French Empire was dissolved? What? Me taking the Dominican... Me? What? What just happened? Okay, I don't want this song here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of this freaking playlist. I like this song. It sounds cool. What just happened? Why did taking the Dominican... Why did freeing the Dominican Republic dissolve the entire French Empire? Did we break the... Did we break the AI? It's all empty. It's all empty. Did Napoleon just love the Dominican Republic that much? He just gave up. Why? Why did he do that? Yeah, so what is going on, man? And now this guy's just out here doing nothing. Did I just... Propaganda. Oh, I also started sending propaganda into Russia as well. Whoops. I didn't... That doesn't... What is going on? Reports of the Santo Domingo recognition devastation wrought by American privateers reached Napoleon's headquarters in Vienna. The emperor raged at the insolence of the Americans, but recognized opening a new front across the ocean was impossible while Austria remained a threat. He issued scathing decrees denouncing the USA and the New Dominican Republic, but ordered his admirals to prioritize protecting supply lines to Spain over retaliatory aids. The French threat to the Caribbean remained verbal. What? This still doesn't make sense. Hello? No, Russia's still here. Okay, I need to see what the advisor is going to say about France literally disappearing overnight. I'm so dumbfounded. I don't think it was expecting me to actually take that. Europe paused. Does it recognize? I don't think it recognizes that France is gone. See, it still says the French Empire. Where did the French Empire go? Is it gonna recognize what happened? Okay. It's gonna talk about it. It's like, bro, you can't just have Napoleon disappear. Whoa, 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 France. France, where are you? Your question strikes at the heart of the most astonishing development in our intelligence report. The French Empire, once the terrifying hegemon of Europe under Napoleon, has effectively collapsed and dissolves in the wake of our coordinated actions. Here's the cause. The Caribbean stranglehold. It was not a single battle that broke Paris, but a perfect storm that we helped orchestrate. Our privateers... No. Go back up, I'm reading. Our privateers in the USS Innovation severed the lifelines to Napoleon's colonies. Without sugar, coffee, or colonial revenue, the French economy crumbled. That's right, because that whole... I noticed at the beginning of stream, or the end of last stream, that France had territory in the Dominican Republic, and since it was only one territory, I started shifting my focus towards getting rid of that territory, because I wanted Napoleon to not have solid land that close to America. The Santo Domingo catastrophe. The Santo Domingo reptile cell didn't just harass, it decapacitated the French command structure in Hispaniola. The resulting panic, combined with our formal recognition of the rebel government, triggered a total mutiny among colonial troops. News of the Serpent victory spread like wildfire, shattering morale across the entire French colonial apparatus. While we struck at sea, Austria and Russia bled the Grande Armée dry on land. The Battle of Wagram was a Pyrrhic victory that left Napoleon with no reserves. Internal revolt. Our propaganda campaign, coupled with the economic starvation caused by our blockade, ignited uprisings in Lyon, Bordeaux, and even Paris itself. The new map of Europe. As of this morning, the entity known as the French Empire no longer exists. Metropolitan France has fractured. Regions like Normandy, Brittany, and Alsace have declared independence or reverted to local rule. The central government in Paris has ceased to function. Colonial holdings abandoned. With the navy gone and the home country in chaos, French garrisons in the Caribbean and elsewhere have either surrendered to locals or been evacuated. European territories. The lands Napoleon had conquered, Italy, Germany, Poland, are rapidly slipping from French control, reverting to independent states or falling under the influence of Austria, Russia, and Prussia. Our position. Sir, we are standing amidst the ruins of a titan. The threat of French invasion is gone. The annulment of the Louisiana Purchase is now a historical footnote issued by a government that no longer holds power. We face a vacuum of power in the Atlantic. Spain is a ghost. France is a memory. Britain remains, but their primary rival has vanished. This is the moment we transition from a regional fortress to a global architect. For once, I'm proud of you, my U.S. son. Thanks, Dad. You still can't tax us. This is the moment. The path to an undisputed dominance in the Western Hemisphere is now clear. Oh my gosh. So, should we help? Huh. You know, let's congratulate everyone. We'll get Britain in here. We'll get... Austria in here. We'll get Russia in here. Where are you at, Russia? You're down here more. Philippines. What's that? I don't know. Wait, where's Russia? Is that Russia? That is not Russia. There it is. So we've got British, Austria, and Russia. What do we do now? What do I do now that my enemy and only source of occupation is gone? Oh, let's see what they say. Oh look, it's the Holy Roman Empire. With Napoleon reeling, we must immediately consolidate rather than seek new fronts. The invalidation, but he... French Empire is gone. Yeah, let's just make sure they understand exactly what has happened. The collapse of the French Empire is a miracle we dared not hope for even after Wagram. Yet Austria remains exhausted and our armies in need of serious reorganization before we can project power beyond our borders. Wholeheartedly support formalizing the invalidation of all French claims. Securing your sovereignty is essential to stabilizing the new order in Europe. Immediately draft this accord with Britain and Russia to ensure that the vacuum left by Napoleon is filled by lasting peace. Yeah, let's get everything settled down before I go on a rampaging expansion bonanza. Yeah. Sudden dissolution of the French Empire removes our primary continental adversary, yet Russia must remain vigilant as our first Western army holds position in Silesia to monitor the power vacuum. Only endorsed the immediately formalization of accords invalidating all French claims to American territories and recognizing the new Caribbean order you have established. Let us draft this treaty without delay to ensure the stability of Europe rests on a foundation of mutual respect and secure borders rather than the chaos of collapsed empires. Completely agree. Let us draft the treaty. Man, what an upset, guys. What an upset. Little old America just had to freaking destroy the French's colonial outposts. The France's colonial outposts. Secretaries begin drafting the articles immediately. Reality. Britain stands ready to guarantee the permanent invalidation of French claims and to recognize your Caribbean allies, securing a stable balance of power. Tyrant removed. We shall focus on restoring order to Europe while ensuring American sovereignty from Florida to the Pacific remains unchallenged. So Austria should get back what it lost from France. That's what I think. Swift drafting. Reconstruction. Yes, yes, yes. But that's a lot of land. See, I kind of didn't want France to fall like that. I kind of wanted to get rid of Napoleon. And I hadn't gotten to that step of the plan yet, because after freeing the Dominican Republic from French colonization, then I was going to focus on going directly after Napoleon. Rush pledges pure war to uphold the new... Yeah, I should... Because Spain was on France's side, Kind of. Army will stand down from high alert once the signatures are dry. Maybe we should all just... maybe we should all delete the Ottoman Empire. Treaty nearing completion commits recognizing your sovereignty. Stable, friendly United States will serve as vital counterweight in the Atlantic, allowing us to concentrate on restoring order. Yeah, the US is absolutely going to be focused solely on the US now that there's no major conflict happening in the world currently. We're coming up to the end of stream here. Royal Seal. Are they like just going to sign the treaty in the chat? That'd be hilarious. See, all we needed was an extremely futuristic robotic life form. Is this just gonna work? Can I just tell them, let's sign the treaty? End of French ambition. With our fleets commanding the seas, your sovereignty from Florida to the Pacific now guaranteed, Britain looks forward to an era of prosperous trade and shared stability. That this document stands as a mutual pledge with tyranny. That the tyranny of Napoleon shall never again threaten our nations. Yeah. Okay, so we all got them to agree. So now... wonder who I should raid today. I hope this VOD doesn't take as long as it did last time to get exported to YouTube. Okay. Ratify. Ratify that son bear. Ratify it. Whoops. Okay. Ratify. No, I don't want to be too harsh right now. Establish civil governance. Demand deport remaining Spanish loyalists to Cuba. Ooh, yes. Securing Caribbean. Negotiate. Ooh. Hi, YouTube. Dude, I can't wait to be so... I don't want to say that I will for sure make it, but it'd be so weird to be big enough for people to start doing the high YouTube stuff in my chat. Yes, help them. Construct a supply road. Don't ask what happened to France. It's so complicated that the game didn't even tell us what happened until I specifically asked it to. Yeah, it just like... It's like Thanos snapped into nothingness. Demonstrate bombard explosives to allies. Monitoring the Russian presence in Alaska. A card castle. Absolutely. Proposed purchase of Russian Alaska. Fortify the Alaskan border discreetly. Yeah, let's do that. I don't want to try buying from Russia again, because they got really nervous last time I did that. Establish permanent. Formalize the unit. Yes, formalize it. I would never decommission my baby. Issue a proclamation declaring the Western Hemisphere closed to future European colonization. Mediate the Central European... Send a high-level diplomatic envoy to Vienna to help mediate border disputes. That's a good idea. Oil! We love oil! And then... Let's have a big... Organize victory against... Really? Well, we have been going for a really long time. We actually hit the end of the music thing. So we were able to prune some songs out that didn't really fit the vibe. That I wanted out of the playlist. So let's go ahead and play this. And then we'll play this. And then this if we're still here. You took sweetness and poof, no more France. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Celebration. So I think in the next stream, we will start organizing. We'll start organizing all our military units. We'll start reorganizing them to focus on taking land from New Spain. You know, free Cuba, all that stuff. send shipments of Baja Blast to European allies as a victory gift. Okay, let's see how this last turn works out for us. Last turn of the stream. Had a lot of fun. I did not think we were going to defeat Napoleon in this stream. The Treaty of Vienna cements American sovereignty in a historic gathering at the Hofburg Palace. Representatives from the USA, British Empire, Austria, and Russian Empire signed the definitive treaty ending the Fifth Coalition. The document formally recognized American sovereignty over Florida, Funky Town, and Better France, permanently invalidating all French claims to these territories following the collapse of Napoleon's regime. The signatories pledged mutual defense and established a new balance of power, ensuring that the vacuum left by France would be filled by stability rather than chaos. This diplomatic triumph secured the United States' status as a major global power. The Florida Territorial Government, Coastal Defense Brigade, dissolved for civilian governance. Following the peace treaty, President Jefferson ordered the dissolution of the Coastal Defense Brigade in Florida, replacing military rule with a civilian territorial government. Veterans were offered generous land grants to encourage rapid settlement, transforming the peninsula from a war zone into a thriving agricultural hub. Townships sprang up overnight as families arrived to claim plots, bringing schools, churches, and local militias. This shift marked the end of the emergency wartime posture and the beginning of permanent American integration of the region. Vulcan cannons arrive in Santo Domingo. A convoy of American ships delivered a cache of surplus Vulcan pattern guns to the ports of the newly recognized Republic of Santo Domingo. These lightweight, high-powered cannons were immediately emplaced by Dominican rebels to fortify their coastlines against any stray French or Spanish naval remnants. The transfer demonstrated America's commitment to its Caribbean allies, providing them with the technological edge needed to maintain independence. Local commanders praised the weapons for their mobility and devastating range. The Engineering Corps blazes a Missouri Funky Town supply road. Under direct orders from Washington, U.S. Engineering Corps began blazing, fortifying a direct supply road from Missouri to Funky Town. The route cut through rugged terrain, requiring the construction of bridges and way stations to facilitate faster troop movement and settler wagon trains. This infrastructure project aimed to bind the Western Territory economically and militarily to the Eastern states. Settlers cheered the news, knowing reliable access would accelerate the region's development and security. Yeah, Funky Town. I love that song, so, you know. Yay! A Missouri Funky Town supply road! I forgot I had a team in Hawaii. Pacific Team maps Alaska border choke points. The Pacific Reconnaissance Team committed a detailed completed... yeah, I just kind of forgot them out there. The Pacific Reconnaissance Team completed a detailed survey of defensible choke points along the Alaska border, identifying key mountain passes and river valleys for future fortifications. Supplies were pre-positioned at strategic locations to support potential construction efforts. This proactive measure ensured the USA could rapidly Oh, it's from the game Super Mario Odyssey. It's one of my favorite songs of the game. And I'll be playing it on the stream eventually. This proactive measure ensured the USA could rapidly secure its northern flank against any Russian or British encroachment. The maps provided invaluable intelligence for long-term defense planning in the Pacific Northwest.
Fireworks are gonna start.
Oh, the song Funky Town? I can't play it right now because it's very copywritten. But it's a fun song. I like it. It's kind of old. Experimental reptile unit formalized as Army Branch. Breeding facilities in Georgia were expanded to maintain a ready stock of conditioned venomous agents, including snakes, alligators, and poison dart frogs. Handlers received official commissions, and the unit's budget was secured for ongoing research into biological warfare tactics. This unique force stood as a testament to American ingenuity and willingness to explore unconventional methods of defense. A high-level American diplomatic envoy arrived in Vienna to mediate lingering. Let me see when Funky Town was made. Funky Town was made. The song was made in 1979. Various German states positioned the USA as a global peacekeeper. The delegation facilitated talks that reduced tensions in Central Europe following the French collapse. While European powers traditionally dominated such negotiations, American neutrality and newfound prestige made them an acceptable arbiter. The mission underscored the United States' transition from a regional player to international stabilizer. Across the United States, cities and towns erupted in celebration to honor the final victory over Napoleon and the signing of the Treaty of Vienna. Parades featuring veterans, Vulcan cannons, and even displays from the experimental reptile unit. Fireworks lit up the sky from Boston to New Orleans, while newspapers proclaimed the dawn of an American century. The festivities reinforced national unity and pride, cementing the war's outcome in the public consciousness as a triumph of liberty over tyranny. Baja Blast shipments arrive as victory gifts. Crates of Mountain Dew Baja Blast were shipped to European allies in Britain, Austria, and Russia as symbolic gifts of victory and friendship. The vibrant green soda, once a morale booster for American troops, now served as a cultural ambassador, introducing allies to a taste of American innovation. Recipients in London and Vienna expressed amusement and appreciation, noting the drink's refreshing quality. The gesture strengthened diplomatic bonds and highlighted the soft power of American consumer goods. The issuance of the land grants in Funky Town triggered a massive demographic shift as thousands of settlers poured into the territory from the east. Wagons creaked along the new Missouri Funky Town supply road, establishing farms, mills, villages at breathtaking pace. The influx made any foreign claim to the region legally and physically impossible to enforce, solidifying American sovereignty through population. Local indigenous groups adapted to the new reality, engaging in trade and treaties with the burgeoning communities. With the treaty Vienna ratified, European courts scrambled to adjust to the new geopolitical landscape. Britain consolidated its naval dominance. Austria focused on internal reconstruction. Russia turned its gaze toward the Ottoman frontier. You know what? My healthcare is Mountain Dew. No, I'm just kidding. Right now, I think we're just celebrating and reorganizing. But this will all be on the next time I stream this game. Might be later this week. Like, I might play it again tomorrow. I kind of want to play Mario Wonder tomorrow, though. So this might be in like 1 or 2 streams in the future when I play this again. But I will play it again. Ottoman frontier. Oh, Russia is now going towards Ottoman Empire. The absence of French aggression allowed for a tentative stability, though old rivalries simmered beneath the surface. For the USA, the era marked the beginning of unprecedented expansion and influence, free from the shadow of European imperialism. Okay, so we got the Seminole back, like fully integrated. We're patrolling the Caribbean as a deterrent. Propaganda yields dissent in former French territories. The covert propaganda campaign distributing pamphlets criticizing Napoleon's legacy continued to result in former French reports of dissent and unrest reached Paris, where the remnants of the old regime struggled to maintain order without imperial backing. Americans' messages highlighting prosperity and freedom resonated with populations weary of war and conscription. Psychological warfare complemented diplomatic efforts, ensuring that the post-Napoleonic order remained stable and resistant to reactionary movements. F transmitted updates, reports from the Arctic Watch Station, noting subtle shifts in Russian naval movements along the Alaskan coast. While no aggressive actions were detected, the monitoring provided early warning of any changes in Russian Pacific policy. The data allowed Washington to adjust its northern defenses proactively, maintaining a posture of readiness without escalation. Success. Yes, I'll be playing Mario Wonder tomorrow. We're maybe halfway through it at this point, or maybe a little less than halfway through it. The success of this unique intelligence partnership continued to validate the strategic value of F's contributions. So we move into February 20th, 1810. We've reached the year I was scared to reach, because if we go into the prompt used, because in the prompt it specifies that the British Empire goes to war with the US in 1812. So we've got 2 years. Before we can see if we've broken the AI enough to stop them from going to war with us. But right now, I think we've done one hell of a job. France is gone. It is time for America to take more land. But sneakily. We have to do it subtly. We don't want... We want all this to settle over here. We want all this to settle. We also... Because we don't want... Like, we want it to settle. Because we kind of want them to leave us alone right now. So they're doing stuff over there, and we don't want to agitate them over here. So our expansion is going to be expansion by getting allies. So we've got the allies of the Dominican Republic. We should probably head for Puerto Rico. Establish some alliances in Europe. Some more solid alliances. Establish African alliances so that we can have some places over there. Yeah. our silly little venture into Pax Historia started out with the simple goal of starting right after the Louisiana Purchase and trying to, with the simple goal we made of taking Florida from Spain, resulted in us getting entrenched, like diverting from history pretty immediately and getting entrenched in the Napoleonic Wars, and then destabilizing the French Empire to such an extent that it basically dissolved overnight. I think that's pretty victorious. So we've got a great future in this this game and in this specific scenario that we're running. And I thank you all for being here. So, with that being said, we are going to raid. We're going to raid out to... Let's see. We could raid out to someone playing Escape from Tarkov. Or we could raid out to a streamer playing who is going to be continuing their playthrough of Resident Evil 9. I don't know if either of those things interest anyone more than the others. But I think personally, I think we'll go over to Maddie for the win, who's playing Resident Evil 9. He's a real cool guy. I think he's probably getting close to the end of Resident Evil 9. There is a raid message you can use. Just as a re-raid. Not too difficult. And once again, I thank you for joining me today. I will be streaming. Hopefully, I'll be streaming again around the same time tomorrow. And until next time, take care of yourself, because you are the only you that there is. And that is very special. So long. And happy St. Patrick's Day.